Hello, good day to you. Welcome to the webinar Stay at Home Marketing Emails for Best Results, conducted by Netcore Solutions. In this webinar, we will be talking about how marketing has changed since COVID-19 and how brands can leverage. We have guest speakers from InterSwitch and First Bank who I will introduce in future slides. But first, here are some considerations. The world is under upheaval from COVID-19, and every business right now is trying to adjust their services. Brands now need to send their messages with a tact. So you need to change the tactic with which you send your messages to engage your users because the communication landscape has changed. Brands are now faced with the challenge of rising above the fold in digital communications, and we are going to talk about what works and what doesn't in marketing communications this period. So let's go ahead and introduce our speakers. First of all, myself, Chukwudi Nwokike. I'm the Client Success Manager for Africa for Netcore Solutions. I help brands, about 70 plus of them in the Nigerian and African markets, leverage on their email, website, and mobile app engagement. They call me a smart tech evangelist because I'm a strong supporter of the smart tech platform because of its omni-channel capabilities. Our next speaker is Olayinka Ijabiyi. He's the head brand and stakeholder management for First Bank. He has a wealth of experience in communications that spans across media, sustainable development, education, and telecommunications. He set up the digital marketing and innovation team with the marketing and corporate comms department at First Bank. Yinka oversees First Bank corporate and product brands as the head of brands and stakeholder management. He's a subject matter in various communication subjects from public relations to digital marketing. Our next speaker from InterSwitch Group is Mr. Tayo Alofun. He's the lead digital marketing and community management creative services for InterSwitch Group. He's a consumer engagement strategist and a content writer, and he likes to identify trends and give you insights on how customers can fall in love with your brand. So let's get on to what we will talk about today. The first thing we're going to look at is key statistics to note in the email behavior of 2019. So in this webinar, I will be giving you a prelude to the kind of data that you see in our banking report that we are releasing in May that analyzes how Nigerians read emails in 2019. Over 1 billion emails were analyzed in that report. Then we're going to talk about the change of email trends and marketing communications during the period. So what has changed from 2019 data to now, lockdown data? The third thing is we're going to talk about what has worked and what hasn't for marketing communications since the lockdown, the do's and don'ts for brand emails during this crisis, and how you can rise above the fold to create engaging marketing communications during the crisis. Lastly, I will give you some email tips on what you can use now to improve your engagement and drive conversions in this period. Then we're going to have a conclusion of it all, put it all together, final word for our speakers, maybe a question and answer period, and then we'll discuss briefly about the banking reports for 2020. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the webinar. So, the first thing we'll talk about is the email behavior in 2019 of Nigerians. So, how Nigerians read emails. We've been talking about the banking report 2020, where Netcore analyzed over 1 billion emails sent out in Nigeria. And one thing we know is this: emails really do work, and they give you a huge amount of impressions. And the cost per email compared with other digital channels is quite low, I would say. Nigerians are pretty much begging you to engage with them in emails. Out of the emails we analyzed, we found 160 million impressions, but the clicks were quite low because the emails were not that engaging. We were able to analyze trends in day behavior, hourly behavior. Looks like there's a mistake over there. There's a 9, supposed to be a 3. So we were able to analyze trends in day behavior, hourly behavior, and some things were noticed based on the data. So if we take a look at the email data in 2019, we find out that we had total open rates of 16.24% with unique open rates 11%, and click rates of 0.48%, quite low, and unique 0.35%. So here's some highlight data. Less than 5% of emails being sent out had a greater than 20% open rate. So brands need to do better in that. 13% of emails had 15 to 20% open rate. 89% of emails had a less than 1% click rate. And if you want to take into consideration Gmail, you see that 79% of users open their email from a Gmail account as compared to a Yahoo or an Outlook. But let's look at personalized emails. We see a jump in unique open rates from 11% to 7%, and a jump in total open rate from 16 to 24%. So anytime an email was sent that was personalized, either using the customer's name, the product that the person used, there was a jump in the email data. Some content style considerations we noticed in the report. Exclamation marks reduced open rates by 2%, while question marks increased open rates by 1%. We also noticed that the subject lines where the subject line topic didn't really give a detail to what the email content was about, had a drop in open rates. And when we consider the kind of tone of subject line to use, we found out that casual subject line tones perform better in open rates. Some daytime behavior. So almost a third of the email engagement happened on weekends in 2019. That's a lot. Over 20% of emails were opened on a Saturday. So out of 7 days in the week, 20% of emails were opened on a Saturday. Emails sent on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday had the highest open rates, and mails sent after 8 p.m. had the highest open rates. So just to talk about this, there's a clear trend between the day and time you send the email and how much engagement you get. So this kind of detailed analysis was provided in the reports that will be released in May. Then some key data we should note about losing contacts. There was no correlation between the amount of times a customer sends an email and the unsubscribe rate. So you find out that email frequency, you will think that sending more emails increased your unsubscribe rates. However, what we noticed is that there was no correlation between email frequency to the database and unsubscribe rates. Survey Communications had the highest unsubscribe rate. So what this told me was we need to reserve our survey communication to our loyal customers. And there were emails that were making the difference. Personalized emails were making subject lines of 24%. Automated emails were having click rates of 7% as opposed to 0.5% for campaign emails. And the engagement on automated emails was as much as 25%. So let's take a look at the behavior of emails when customers are staying at home. So we see that the open rates have dropped. So the total open rates are 15%, unique 12%, total click rates 0.2 and unique 0.21. Less than 3.8 of the emails sent have a 20% open rate. So I'll just quickly take you to the slide of where we compare the difference between how emails were read in 2019 to lockdown to compare to each other, okay? So I've compared 2019 data and I've put it beside lockdown data. So lockdown data was considered from March 23rd, which is actually when I started my lockdown, which was my birthday, and to date. So we've analyzed the emails. So here's a few things. Now, from the emails we're analyzing, first of all, we used to have 83 million emails on average per month. Now we are sending out 160 million emails monthly. Now note that email communication has doubled. Remember this because it's going to help you to understand why you need to be relevant. Total open rates have dropped by 1%. However, unique open rates have jumped by 1%. If we consider, we might be considering 1% as a small volume, but 1% of 160 million is a whole lot of customers. Okay. Total click rates have dropped. Unique click rates have dropped. Emails with greater than 20% open rates have dropped. However, emails between 15 to 20% open rates have jumped by 10%. Okay. Now, before, the best day to send out an email used to be Friday and Wednesday. Even that has changed. The best day to send an email is now Thursday. Matter of fact, the engagement for Saturday and weekends have dropped on email. That is one thing I want us to know. So, see, I'm only talking about email, but it will be very important for you to use this for all your business communications because how engage with communications is pretty much the same when you think of periodic trends. Now, post 2019, the best time to send an email was after 8 p.m. Sorry, in 2019. But right now, the best time to send an email is 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Right? So right now, I'm going to ask one of my panelists, Tayo or Yuka, to you for your organization, or what kind of insights can you share with our audience within a few minutes about this change in email marketing behavior? Tayo, over to you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, Chooks, do you want to move the slide over there, or do you want me to control the slide from here?
No, I want you to give our audience some insights from the position of InterSwitch, what you think about this change in data from 2019 to lockdown data. Maybe if you can just discuss about it for 2 minutes.
Okay, so essentially, what we are seeing now is that people are having more time. People are around for more time. So really, when you look at it, people read emails at their leisure time, and we know this because at some point we've tried different models. So we've tried send time optimization, for instance, to be able to deliver the email to people at the time that they are more convenient with reading emails. So we deliver emails before the lockdown. We send email sometimes on Thursday, sometimes on Friday. But then we discovered that there are people who don't read those emails until Saturday or Sunday. And for people that are reading email on those days, they read their emails around 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Now, one of the things coming out is that a lot of those people are returning from work. They get back from work late. Later in the night, that's when they get to read their emails. Some read those emails on weekend. Now, the change that we are seeing now is that people don't go to work all day, so they are at home. And so when emails come into their personal inbox, they are able to read it almost immediately. So if you send email on Thursday, on Tuesday, for instance, maybe not on Monday, because despite the lockdown, a lot of companies still maintain the culture of you send on Thursday, on Wednesday, on Tuesday, people are going to read it almost immediately. So that's what we are seeing. That's the shift we are seeing.
Okay, yes, yeah, and just to add, right, this is not based on data, but maybe this might be just based on a feeling, right? See, I think that the reason why people are engaging less in the evenings is because of the overwhelming communications that is happening with COVID-19. So you see, even me sometimes, right, at the end of the day, I don't want to listen to news because I've been listening to updates of new cases, brands are talking to me, I'm doing my work, trying to catch up to see if the world is about to end. And when it comes to like 9 p.m. in the evening, I'm totally done. So I'm thinking that early communications are working better now because the new norm is to sit down at home indefinitely. So that's just a thought on it. If any one of our audience have any insights to put, you can always put it on the chat box and we'll understand what you're saying.